Clement is here to look at the international papers. Of course, Kenya really dominating a lot of the papers today.
That's right, and we start with Kenyan newspaper Daily Nation, reminding us that this election is indeed crucial for Kenya and also for the entire world. Kenya is one of Africa's most open and democratic societies, as well as one of the continent's most dynamic economies. Kenya is also a country where elections are bitterly fought. 10 years ago, there was terrible post-election ethnic violence in the country, which killed around 1,200 people and drove hundreds of thousands from their homes.
Yeah, there is indeed, of course, fears that the violence could flare up once again, despite calls for calm from the two main candidates there.
That's right. The Independent asks this question on their front page today. Will votes turn to violence in Kenya? Latest polls predict a very close race between incumbent President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga, but the presidential election will not be the only bone of contention in the country, writes the Independent. For the first time in history, Kenyans are also choosing governors for the country's 47 counties, and these regional elections, says the Independent, have the greatest potential for violence, creating 47 potential flashpoints instead of just one.
And people, they're obviously very worried about possible ethnic and regional clashes as well.
Absolutely, and Kenyans have actually accused the Standard newspaper of fanning tensions by publishing and distributing 3 different editions of their newspaper on Sunday, each with a different headline. Copies carrying the headline "Raisa smells victory" were sold in Western and Nyanza counties, while copies with the headline "Uhuru smells victory" were sold in central counties. Meanwhile, in Nairobi, where both candidates enjoy equal popular support, the front page read, "The choice is yours."
Okay, at least it splits it, I suppose. Let's move to Britain now. I'm not surprised by this story. An increasing number of British citizens are applying for either French or German citizenship.
That's right. And French newspaper Le Figaro reports today that the number of Britons applying for French citizenship has surged 264% since the Brexit vote last year. A record number have also applied for German citizenship, this amidst the uncertainty surrounding the negotiations between Britain and the EU. Le Figaro reminds us that 1.2 million Brits live or work in other EU countries, including 200,000 in France. Many fear for their future and say they feel ignored by the government in London.
Lots of people in this building, I have to say. Now, meanwhile, in the US, President Donald Trump has quietly launched his very own TV channel.
That's right. Donald Trump has repeatedly criticised the mainstream media, accusing them of spreading fake news and of treating him and his supporters unfairly. So he decided to take the matter into his own hands, hiring former CNN pundit Kayleigh McEnany, presenting Trump's fans and followers with the, quote, real news that the fake media won't broadcast. The Washington Post, however, is not convinced, saying, and I quote, "It is a real spin at best, and it feels a lot like real propaganda."
No spin here on France 24. We hope not, anyway. Now, we're going to end with this incredible story. It's quite frightening news, actually, from Australia. A teenager is recovering in hospital. This is after being bitten by multiple mite-sized sea critters. I never thought I'd say that expression on France 24.
That's right. Local papers report that the 16-year-old teenager from Melbourne found his feet and ankles covered in blood after taking a dip in the ocean on Saturday evening. He described feeling pins and needles in his legs after standing in the water for about half an hour, but thought the pain was just caused by sand coated around his ankles. It was only once he started walking home that he realised he was bleeding. Experts say the mysterious sea creatures responsible for the attack are tiny sea lice, which normally do not attack humans. The 16-year-old is expected to leave hospital very soon with no major injuries, but The Guardian today warns that there are other creatures out there with a taste for human flesh. You may have heard of piranhas, of course, but the list also includes turtles. So beware next time you go swimming, especially if it's in the River Seine. Who knows what may be lurking in those brown waters.
I was actually on Brighton Beach about 2 weeks ago, completely coincidentally, but luckily it was pouring with rain, so I didn't put my feet in the sea, but I'm quite glad about that now. Anyway, thank you very much, Clement, with the papers on France 24. Very latest news, couple of minutes' time.